Okay, so as a follow-up sa Group 5, it's good na na-discuss nyo yung ano ba yung customer. A while ago, na-discuss din yung mga customer loyalty programs and somehow na-discuss nyo din yung mga types of customers in your business. Kasi as much as we want to be uniform sa ating mga types of customer, kasi kung uniform, predictable, alam natin kung ano ba ang gusto nila in that case eh. Audible ba ako? Narinig ba ako na maayos? So far, so good naman.
Yes.
Wala ka naman.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay, sige. So, follow up lang ako sa ano natin. So, define natin, what is a customer in legal terms? Pag sinabing customer, it refers to an individual, isang tao, or entity. Pwede siyang kapwa business, pwede siyang organization, okay, that purchases goods or services from you, okay, in exchange for resources. So when this happens, they give you some resource and you give something back. And again, resources can be money, time, effort, all those things. May transaction involved. And every time there's a transaction involved, there's an agreement. Okay, this is legally. When there's a transaction involved, there's two parties, again, the provider and the customer. Okay? So, if pag binigyan ka ng libreng pera, is that a customer? Pag binigyan ka ng libreng pera, ano masasabi niyo doon? Anyone? Pag binigyan ka ng libreng pera, customer ba yon? Guys?
Hindi po.
Exactly, hindi. Charity yun. Pero sana all, bigyan tayo ng libreng pera. Kasi walang transaction na naging involved. So, if you take money from someone, may kinuha kang pera, customer ba yun? Customer ba yun?
No.
Of course not, hindi. Tawag doon scamming or theft, di ba? So, again, there's a seller, there's a buyer. Okay, there's a provider, there's a recipient. Customers can be individuals, organizations, or other businesses. Now, it's very important, lalo na ang itong ginagawa natin na kurso, di ba, business management, to know what is a customer. Kasi, if you know the customer, alam mo kung anong ginagawa nila para sa yung negosyo. Alright? According kanina, sila ba ay kapwa innovators? Sila ba ay co-value holders? Or sila ba yung nagpo-provide ng pondo para sa yung business? Alam mo kung ano role nila. Para pag alam mo din yung role nila, alam mo kung paano sila i-prioritize ba, ano ba mauna? Kasi some companies, they value employees first than the customers. No problem there. Depende sa organization na. They prioritize employees and the customer first. Some businesses value the customers over the employees. Some businesses value the environment than the customers. Again, it depends upon the business, but it's very important na malaman mo saan ba sa hierarchy yung customers mo. Kung kumbaga sa cycle, nasaan ba sila? Sila ba yung nasa dulo? Sila ba yung simula? O sila ba yung nagpapaikot? So if you know them, kung alam mo yung role nila sa business, ah malalaman mo din kung sino responsable para kanino, no? Tawag dito, magulat ka na lang paminsan nga kung hindi mo kilala ang customer mo, baka ikaw na pala yung binibentahan mo sa sarili. Ikaw na yung nabibentahan sa sarili mong negosyo, okay? So, when we know what they are, susundan mo ba sila o sila ba dapat ang sumunod sa'yo? So, given this, if you know the roles of your customers, bato pa ako ng isang question, totoo ba na customers are always right? Anyone? Totoo ba na customers are always right? Walang tama, walang mali.
Hindi po.
Bakit, Miss Rodeline?
Nabasa ko po to dun sa PDF niyo na customers may not be always right, but they should be treated right.
Yes, exactly. Eldred, nag-case ka ng hand?
Um, I'm agree po ako kay Rodeline. Parang
Mhm.
it's all about siguro sa rules na rin yan, parang you need to respect the customer even na mali nga sila. Parang, kumbaga, pag binastos mo rin sila, parang parang mag-a-affect dun sa company or parang makikita
Tama.
na ng ibang tao. Ganun.
Tama. That's good. That's good. Sir Jude?
Para po sa akin, sir, mas ah, accurate kung sabihin na customer is always first or mas prioritize kaysa
Mhm.
always right.
Mm. That's good. That's a good call. That's a good call. So, one example na lang dito is, ito, itong transaction na nangyayari sa atin. This is a provider and a customer relationship. Ako yung provider, kayo yung customers ko. Now, look, dahil kayo yung customers, in this case, doesn't necessarily mean that you're always right. Di ba? Paano ba yun? Mas tama pa yung estudyante sa teacher. Pero tama rin ang sinabi ni Sir Weljun, customers first. So yung well-being nyo sa ano na to is my priority and my first of all concern. The way how I do it, depende na yun sa aking magiging technique, right? So that's an example. As you can see, it depends upon what the customer is in that business, right? In retail stores and in restaurants, syempre, customer satisfaction are always prioritized sa mga retail, lalo na sa mga restaurant, di ba? But let's just say in academics, yun na nga, in this case, ah, hindi ko mahirap sabihin na mas tama kayo kaysa sa akin, okay? Pero kayo ang priority ko, of course. So it's important to know who your customers is, to know who the seller is, who is the buyer. If you know the roles, you know the part that they play. Okay. So now you know what the customer is. It's time to know who are your customers. So one litmus test that you can do, kunyari nagsisimula ka ng bagong negosyo or minsan wala ka pang idea eh. One test that you could do is to figure out sino ba yung mga tao na mayroong problema na katulad mo noon, pero ngayon nandito ka na sa posisyon para tulungan sila. Okay? Figure out the people who had the same problem as you had in the past, but now you're in the position to help them. Right? Goods provider ka or service provider, syempre being somewhat of an expert, somewhat of an experienced person in that case, you're in the position to provide service for them. And those people na naghahanap ng tulong ba? Okay? Are they willing to pay? Okay? If not now, maybe in the future, or are they willing to promote you? These are customers that will interact with your business, especially kung nag-provide ka ng touch points. When we talk about touch points, meron ka bang physical store? May website ka ba? May social media page ka ba? Or sometimes, are you a hardcore cold caller? Okay? Mga tao na kaya mong lapitan kasi alam mo na may serbisyo ka or produkto na kaya makatulong sa problema nila. So, customers can avail your goods or services. It can be paid one time if they want to, di ba? It can be paid by subscription. Minsan it can be for free. Minsan it can be utang for for now. Okay? Uh, Pati ang mga subscribers, you could also call them as customers, right? So, customers are those that receives your goods or services legally. If it's illegal, ibang usapan yun, okay? And customers are those in the position to give you legitimate feedback dahil they had experience with your goods and services. People that may give feedback sa inyong mga binibigay na goods and services as long as hindi pa nila na-encounter are not customers, are not valid. Okay? So, pasok naman tayo sa customer personas. Familiar kayo sa term na persona? Familiar na ba kayo doon? Anyone? Familiar na kayo? Persona. Narinig na. That's good, that's good. Yung minention kanina ni Sir Maui is a type of persona. Personas are ways of categorizing our customers. Sabihin na natin profiling. Sabi na nga nila na masyado na hindi daw maganda na mag-profile. Pero if you use profiling in the right way, in the way now you want to better serve people, then I would argue profiling is a good means to get to that intention. Okay, so initially when we have our goods or services, may initial idea tayo kung sino ba yung lalapitan natin. Meron tayong initial idea. Ito ba ay kunyari nagbebenta ka ng mga brief. Obviously, pag nagbebenta ka ng mga brief, sino bebentahan mo? mga lalaki yan, automatically. But then again, these are concepts na pwede pa magbago. Pero at the very least, if you're selling these types of products, underwear for men ang yung mga lalapitan. So, over time that we get to realize other types of customers who purchase for us, other women who wants to retail underwear, we can segment. Now, another way to know who are your customers is by using a survey. Aside na may initial impressions ka na, you also use a survey. If you use a survey, you determine those who are willing to buy at certain conditions. Okay, so malalaman mo din na how can you fix the pricing, the formatting, how you sell them if you do surveys. Traditionally, nung 60s, yun na nga, ginagamit na nila itong mga personas or customer types. Medyo makalumang paraan na, but it does work, in the 60s na to. Types to know who their customers are. Sa personas, ini-include nila yung demographics, kunyari, ano yung edad, ano yung gender, yung income, all those things, para ma-target nila properly. Some include geographics, saan ba to nakatira, saan ba malolocate. Pagtagal, nag-include na rin sila ng psychographics. This includes mga ways of even emotions, nililink na rin nila with psychographics. Mga impulsive buyers ba? Are they more strategical buyers ba? Are they more comfort buyers or are they for the long terms? Okay? And also situational such as lifestyle changes. Yung mga tao na lumilipat sa ganito under stressful times, mga nakaka-experience ng ganito. If you collect as many data as you can, and if you use statistics, and I'm sure you've done your statistics classes, it's easier to target our demographics. Okay, so basically we characterize different customers from individuals to business. Now, if we have customer persona in our mind, we can create goods or services. But as you interact with more customers willing to pay your services, you begin to create formal segmentation. Sa persona, again, the pros of creating customer persona is that it's easier to interact with customers based on their type. Okay? Call it profiling, pero that's what they use in psychology of sales. Ang cons, however, is that based on more recent consumer behavior studies, especially in 2010s, is that characteristics do not cause people to buy products pala. Hindi porket na may ganito kang characteristics, automatic na bibili ka ng ganitong klaseng product. Okay? So it's reverse engineering. It's the other way around. What they found out more recently, ang madalas na dahilan na bumibili ang customer is to solve a struggle, to solve a problem, regardless of their characteristics. So we moved from looking at profiles, now we're looking at problems. We're looking at motivations, why they want to buy it. Okay? So, characteristics tulad ng personas may be correlated for buying the product. Pero remember that it's not always causal, meaning it's not always a cause and effect relationship. Di porkit lalaki, babae, bibili na agad ng ganito. Depende sa problema yan as more studies go by. So far, so good. Nagigets naman? Okay
Yes
naman?
po.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good. Napa-impromptu ko nyo, Mr. Lila. Okay lang, sige. Okay, sige. So kung hindi na persona, now we're moving to, tawag dito, matrix na. Customer profile. Kung hindi na based on demographics, now we're looking at a mix of characteristics of people, problems that we want to solve. This is just an example dahil ako ay naging customer service instructor sa Elorde Group of Companies. So, ginawa ko na ng Tagalog para madaling ma-understand. Profiling, depende yan sa business mo. It doesn't have to follow this as suit. Ikaw bahala how you segment, how you profile your customers. Okay? So don't get me wrong, customer personas are very helpful, lalo na for marketing and product development. But focusing on personas, okay, can make your business narrow. Narrow its focus on the differences, yung mga pinagkakaibahan ng mga customers mo, not on the similarities. So, this may also lead to dissatisfied underserved customers. Meron din term na cannibalization wherein isang profile ng customers mo, kinakain yung kabilang profile ng customers mo. So these are examples of customer profiles that I did that you could also apply this sa mga services. May apat na uri ng customer, may mga nagtitipid, may mga mahirap pakisamahan talaga, may mga emosyonal na mabait, may mga alam. So, mini activity tayo. Kunyari, pag meron kang customer na nagtitipid, mahilig magtanong na magkano, paano ba makamura, ano yung approach na kaya mong gawin para makabenta sa kanila? Anyone? Pag alam mo na yung customer na to nagtitipid, ano yung magiging approach mo para makabenta? Okay, Miss Darlina?
Ano sir, bali kung meron pong mga naka-promo sales, yung mga naka-sales na item,
Mhm.
i-ano ko sa kanya, i-offer.
Mhm. That's good. Kasi alam mo na yung profile, minsan yung mga profiling, nasisense naman natin yan sa customer. Yes, Eldren?
For me, parang based on my experience lang naman. Parang tinatanong mo po na kung what item yung hanap nila, then
Mhm.
may parang narinig ko na may tinatanong sila, yung ano po, yung mababa pong halaga or yung mas maganda po yung quality pero mataas yung halaga. Parang ginaganon
Mhm.
po nila.
Mhm. Yung halaga ang sinasabi nila, yun yung lumalabas agad sa bibig niya. At pag sinabi nila yun, paano yung approach mo pag sinabi nila yun? Yung mura.
Ano bang approach? Sa customer, siguro yung magiging approach ko, hindi ko pa alam, sir.
Siyempre, i-highlight mo yung mura. Talagang ito yung pinakamura namin na gano'n. Siyempre, pag sinabi mo rin na mura, hindi mo sasabihin na low quality, di ba? Kailangan i-relate mo na kahit mura, high quality. Pero may gano'n, may mga customers talaga na mura ang hinahanap. Yes, Miss Rodeline.
Ay parang kasi ako rin po kasi sir medyo nagtitipid din. So, parang yung nakakaano po sa akin halimbawa po sa mga palengke,
Sa
sasabihin
palengke,
'pag
yes.
nagtanong po ako ng presyo sasabihin po nila, halimbawa 350 may tawad pa, yung mga gano'n-gano'n po.
May tawad pa. Pero alam mo na hindi naman talaga 350 yung tunay na presyo, 'di ba? Pero that's one approach para makahikayat ka sa tawagin na lang nating discount customer na bumili. Kasi at the end of the day, gusto nila ma-feel na nakatipid sila. Pero syempre, alam naman natin na hindi naman talaga yung tunay na presyo eh. Alright? Sige. Ano naman ang approach mo pag mahirap pakisamahan? Yung minsan, eto sa amin sa service, may angas, yung may attitude ba na customer? Anong approach nyo para makabenta sa kanila? Sige nga, anyone? Lalo na sa mga working students natin dito, anong approach nyo pag may hirap pakisamahan ng customer? Anyone? Oh, Sir Maui, ikaw.
Sige po, siya muna.
Hindi, ikaw muna. Tinawag kita eh. As Miss Yuki. Sige lang, walang tama, walang mali. Alam mo na mabibentahan mo tong customer na to, pero may attitude, ba, mahirap pakisamahan. Ano yung magiging approach mo? Sige na nga, si Miss Yuki muna. Miss Yuki?
Ano sir, stay professional.
Stay
Like
professional.
halimbawa, kung
Mhm.
sir, example sir, pag halimbawa yung attitude niya na yun, binabato sa'yo, be calm lang and wag masyadong personalin yung yung binabato niyang attitude towards you.
Tama. Yeah, of course. Diba? Kasi again, even though customers are not always right, customers are indeed first. And the moment that you give someone an attitude, na binibigyan ka na ng attitude, I'll just say this na rin na, bumababa ka sa illogical level na yun. So, professional ka dapat. You're the expert of your field. That not just in explaining your products, you could also, uh, present it the way as a professional. Sige, Sir Weljun.
Sa amin naman po sir sa fast food chain kasi madalas din po nangyayari yung maraming iba't iba yung customer namin. So yung paraan po namin pag galit yung customer is uh, we still listen po sa any request or argument ng customer, either it's bad or good, because once na hindi ka po kasi nakinig, they feel na hindi sila valuable ay hindi sila pina-prioritize. And in terms of if possible naman po yung gusto nila, pwede po namin siyang ibigay. If gusto nila ng mura, we can do something para mas mapamura yung mga bibilhin po nilang or purchase nilang product po.
Tama. That's good. Miss Jane.
Sir, sino pong Jane?
Sa akin naman
Ay,
po,
Jane with an H. Miss Nieto.
sa
Miss
akin
Nieto.
naman po sir, pagka ganun po. Naririnig niyo po ako, sorry.
Yes, Miss Jane.
Ay, naririnig po ako,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Ayun po. Sa akin naman po, ang ginagawa ko pagka ganyan po. Ano po, ang advice po kasi sa amin lagi pong i-make sure na parang pinuput nyo po yung sarili, yung parang naiintindihan nyo yung customer sa pamamagitan ng you're putting yourself into their shoes. Parang ganun po. Para nalalaman nila na they were being understand. Ganun. Kahit mali po sila, kailangan po ganun yung approach mo. Para at the end of the day, mabentahan mo pa rin po. Ayan po.
Pag mabenta mo, ikaw pa rin yung nagtagumpay, di ba? kahit ano naging attitude nila. Alright? Ano na lang ako sa difficult customer, minsan karma na lang iniisip ko. Not in a karma na yung masama ba na ganun ba. All I'm saying is, if someone shows you that type of attitude, it reflects not only how they approach you, minsan it reflects how they approach life in general. Minsan pag alam mo na masyadong talaga may attitude, minsan naawa na lang ako. Feeling ko siguro sa buhay nito, matindi ang neto, di ba? So that's just one example. At least that moves me from being angry. Mahirap nang makisabay ng galit sa taong galit ni. Lalo na kung, alam mo, ang objective mo makabenta Minsan napupunta na sa awa or masyado maaning awa. Masyado naman matindi yung awa. Intindi. At least pag nandun ka sa posisyon na intindi, may feedback ka. Ano ba yung madalas na kung madalas magalit ang customer mo, it's not them, it's you na. Okay? Di ba? So you have to understand that. Pero it does so happen na may mga difficult customers tayo. So tama nga, kailangan natin mapakisamaan. Yung pakisama, it's an art of itself. Tama nga na mas okay din na mapakinggan sila. Minsan din, pag may realize din ng customer kung masyado silang irrational So, alam mo yun, malalaman din na nagmukha silang tanga talaga. Pero, it's up to them. And if we do manage to sell them, at the end of things, ikaw pa rin yung nagwagi. Alright? Sige, move natin. Paano kung ang customer mo masyadong may alam? This can be both negative or positive. Minsan pag may inaano ka, sasabihin niya, ay, napanood ko sa ganito. Totoo ba na ganito yung review ni ganyan? Diba? May mga ganun tayong customer na masyado maraming alam. Ano approach nyo pag ganun? Sige nga, anyone? Pag ganun ang customer, masyado maraming alam. Minsan nga yung alam nila hindi pala totoo. Ano magiging approach mo pag ganun? Yun na lang. Miss Baldo.
Sir, for me po, habaan pa rin po yung pasensya po sa pakikipag-usap kahit na sabihin na marami siyang alam kaysa po sa akin. Kasi po may na-encounter po ako, kasi po seller po ako. So, parang kina-compare niya po yung price po na tinda ko po sa napagtanungan niya po. So, bale po kasi po ako po, siyempre po alam ko po na yung mismong presyo po nun. So,
Mhm.
bale yung ire-reply ko po is parang naaayon na lang din po sa sinasabi niya. Para
Mm.
hindi po magkaroon ng ano po, conflict, ganun po.
Isa nga yung mga ano yung mga napanood ko sa amin sa serve mga napanood ko sa YouTube ganito totoo ba mas marami pa silang alam sa inyo. Anyone else? Pag alam niyo na mali naman yung sinasabi. Oh yes, Miss Jane. Miss Nieto.
Ano po, kasi mas may alam ka po sa product knowledge eh. So, ano po, kailangan mo pong maging transparent po. Ipaliwanag po kung ano yung mali sa sinasabi niya, tapos ipaliwanag niyo po kung ano po yung tamang tamang ano niyo po sa product. Kasi mas kilala niyo po yung product niyo eh. So, para matutunan din po nila kung ano po yung tama na ano sa product.
Tama. Sir Maui.
Ako po sir, yung approach ko is by simply proper education sa mga customer in a way na hindi sila ma-offend but they will more realize na what I'm telling is the right information. So tama rin po si Jane, we are trying to be transparent as possible since i-require ng integrity lalo pagdating sa sales.
Tama yan. Especially when kung ang concern natin is safety, 'di ba? Kung customer safety ang pangangailangan diyan. So we have to be transparent with them. But we also have to understand sometimes may sophisticated na customer. I'll just call them as sophisticated. May sophisticated na willing matuto, may sophisticated na difficult din. So it's up to you how to determine who is that. One technique that I like to do is that pag kunyari nasabi na lahat ng expertise nila, I affirm, yes, tama yan. Tapos dadagdagan ko na lang, pero alam nyo ba na ganito? So what's happening right now? Kino-confirm mo na may alam nga yung customer mo. Kung tama, okay? Kung may mga tamang points at may mga mali, i-highlight mo muna yung tama. Saka mo sabihin yung mali ayon sa yung expertise. Pero ang importante pag sophisticated dahil utak ang pinapaandar. Sometimes some people just want to sound intelligent. Gusto lang nilang matunog na matalino ba? Naghahanap siguro na kausap. I don't know. But some people are like that, no? And the moment that you block them firsthand, magiging resistant sila and you might lose some sale. Now, this is a good opportunity to have a customer. How? By confirming to their egos kung ano yung tama sabihin mo, yes, tama yan, ganyan. So, at least nandun ka na sa positive side nila, which makes them more open for new suggestions or information na mas tama. And then you correct them. Alright? So, never try to put a customer down from the get-go kasi mapapaaway ka lang, maging for your reputation. Take it as an opportunity to practice patience, to practice your communication skills. Affirm nyo lang, tapos pag magustuhan nila, and then you tell them yung tamang information. Right? Oh, this one is very easy. Paano kung emotional? Yung mabait lang. Yung ano talaga. Alam mo yung parang oy, kamusta na? Kamustahin ka ng ganun. Parang hindi kayo nagkita for about 3 months pero kanina mo lang pala nakita. Ngayon mo lang nakilala. Minsan may mga customers tayo na very, very affluent, very emotional. Anong approach nyo pag ganun? O pag mabait, anong approach? Oh, yes, Miss Denise.
Ano lang sir, small talk lang. Parang kung ano yung sasabihin nila, parang mag-respond ka lang. And yun lang.
Okay, Sir Weljun. Tapos si Eldrin.
Sa amin naman po, sir, mostly po kasi sa ganyan na na-experience ko is mga elderly na yung mga may edad na po. So more on, I mean mabait po sila pero mabilis din po silang magtampo if hindi nabigay yung gusto nila. So bali yung approach ko na lang po siguro is kung ano yung, if maganda yung naging unang impression or momentum, i-keep up na lang po until matapos yung request niya or yung service na gusto niya.
That's good. Okay. Eldrin?
For me po, we go with the flow ka na lang po. Parang sa mga kunyari tama nga yung si Radyo na hinahanap, kung may hinahanap man siya parang makipagkuwentuhan ka na lang din hangga't sa mawala sa isip niya or yung tampo niya ay parang yung tawag nun, dismaya niya sa product na hinahanap niya. Parang magaan na lang din kasi magkuwentuhan ka na lang sa kanya.
Tama. So pag alam mo emotional, masaya, or alam niyo naman, mabilis mag-confide, mabilis makabuild ng rapport. It's actually a very it's an easier approach kung emotions ang ginagamit nila. Emotions din ang lengguwahe na gagamitin mo. How? How do you talk with emotions? You can tell them na mapapasaya po ako pag nangyari to, ganyan. Imbis na mag-stick ka doon sa logical facts, yung mga numbers, you stick with emotions. So, ganito na lang. Now that we're no longer looking at demographics, now we're looking at personas and motivations. Tulad na lang nito, pwede kang magkaroon ng sarili mong profiling pagdating sa yung business. The way that you approach them, is dependent upon their motivations. Sa nagtitipid, ano bang motivation na nagtitipid? Nagtitipid. Have that sense of discount. Have that sense na nakatipid sila. So you talk that type of language. It doesn't mean na bigay mo talaga na mas mura. You have to work craft your way around to make them feel na naka-discount na sila. Pag difficult ang kausap mong customer, wag niyong palagaan. Minsan, kailangan nyo na lang silang pakinggan. Minsan, kailangan nyo na lang intindihin kung saan nanggagaling yung problema nila. Right? So, talk to that same language. Doesn't mean na makipagsabayan ka ng galit. Ano mo na lang, empathize na lang sa ganun. Sa may alam, right? Since their language is more on knowledge than emotion, then you talk with knowledge. Affirm their knowledge. Affirm nyo yung kaalaman nila. And then, kung may mali man sila sa kanila sinasabi, saka nyo sabihin yung tama. Right? Para hindi lang maging resistance. And of course, with emotional, if the language is in terms of emotions, you also talk in terms of emotions. Alright? So no longer looking at demographics, now we're looking at their motivations. Bakit ba nila binibili ang iyong produkto? You can ask them, or you could also feel why. Right, so yun na nga, na-define na natin what a customer is, na-define na natin who your customers are. It's important to know paano sila nagiging customers sa inyong business. Primarily, potential customers are motivated to do business with you. Definitely, kung wala silang motivations, hindi mo sila makita nor be in your presence. Alright? But if they're motivated, again, they're motivated because they have a problem that needs solving, or to achieve a wanted goal. It's often need and want, need versus want, need and want, there's always a motivation component. Maybe it's a fear of losing something, ayaw nila may mawala, kaya sila bumibili sa inyo, or a desire of gaining something new. Okay? Mga napanood nila sa ganitong klaseng bagong produkto, they desire of something gaining. So again, it's the fear of losing something or the desire of gaining. Example, if you're hungry, kung gutom ka, you go and buy food, you become a consumer. If you need a home, bili ka ng bahay, you rent one, you need transportation, you buy a car, or maybe download Grab, you become a buyer or a subscriber. If you want to be fit, for example, you join a gym, you join a class, you become a member. If you want to be a doctor, for example, you enroll in a school and become a student. By this, malalaman natin kung paano ba namomotivate ang ating mga customers. We could always look back to theories and models. One model that I love looking at is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Familiar naman kayo dito? Familiar na ba kayo dito? Na-encounter nyo na ba to? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Na-encounter nyo na ba to before, guys? Hindi pa. Maraming mga motivation theories that you could look to. What I like about this Maslow's hierarchy of needs is it basically explains na human motivation at the very core is based on these 5 levels. Number 1 is physiological needs. Kung hindi na po-provide ng physiological needs, air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, and even reproduction, everything else on top Kalimutan mo na yan. Kailangan muna nating unahin ang ano natin, physical na pangangailangan. Okay? Gusto mong maging ikaw gusto mong maging best businessman in the world. Pero wala kang hangin right now, nagugutom ka right now. Syempre nasa ng motivation mo to fulfill your physiological needs. And kunyari, na-fulfill na natin yung physiological needs. Meron tayong air, water, food, shelter, basic needs natin. We move into the next level of our motivation. Personal security, employment, resources, health, and property. Okay? Pag na-fulfill natin yan, meron tayong secure na trabaho, we're in good health, then we move to the next level, which is friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. And then yung esteem and then self-actualization. Again, these theories, not necessarily always correct, pero dahil itong study na ito, itong theory na to was from the 60s pa, it has been tested throughout the period of time. So medyo may validity and reliability na rin siya. So you could look at motivational theories to understand ano ba yung dahilan, ano ba yung nagmo-motivate sa mga customers mo to buy. Not only that, malalaman mo din bakit sila hindi bumibili. Okay? So far, nagigets nyo? Nagigets nyo naman?
Yes.
Yes po.
Okay. Maraming motivational theories, pero ito na yung pinakagasgas at pinakagamit. Kaya ito yung pinipili ko. Alright? So, yun na nga. Paano mo rin, so since napag-usapan na natin yung motivations, paano mo rin naman malalaman yung motivations nila? Okay? You could do surveys, of course, you know. You could also try to understand bakit hindi sila bumibili sa'yo. That's part of doing surveys. What I like to do is to look at every goods and every services and their counterparts. Ibig sabihin, kung nagpo-provide ka ng tangible good na isang gamit, there is an abstract drive bakit nila ginagawa yon. Okay? If you're providing services, there's a tangible motivation. Kung marami kang motivations na tinatamaan, kunyari, not just physiological needs, bakit nila binibili yan, bakit safety needs, kung kaya mong pataasin up to self-esteem, okay, to love and belongingness yung produkto or service na pinaprovide mo, mas tataas ang motivations nila. You don't have to stick with one motivation only. You could apply multiple motivations. Bakit nila binibili yan? Alright, so moving on. So nandun na tayo sa who, what, when. Nandun na tayo sa who, how, and what. Move naman tayo sa when. Kailan ba nagiging customer ang isang tao? Well, conventionally, we see someone as our customer from the point of interaction. The moment na naka-interact natin sila, they can be a potential customer, especially for service providers. Pero for someone who provides something tangible, such as goods, this is not always the case. There's this principle called end user, okay? End user, which ultimately determines when someone is your customer. Depende yan pagdating sa dulo. It's always the person who will benefit from you. So even if we have business-to-business customer, okay, the end user will always be the individual. So, kunwari, meron tayong customer na kapwa kanegosyo din, another business. According to end user principle theory, ang tunay natin customer ay yung tao na makikinabang sa pangkahulihan. Alright? Kunyari, nagpo-provide ka ng raw materials. Kunyari, nagpo-provide ka ng, ano ba yung ginagamit? Nickel para sa cellphone. Mayroon kang ka-transaction na other business na bumibili ng nickel mo. So if we look at the typical customer buyer relationship, ang customer mo ay yung bumibili ng nickel. But if we look at end user principle, ang tunay mong customer ay yung huling taong gagamit ng nickel. Maybe this nickel will be reproduced as batteries. Batteries will be produced as components of cellphone. Components of cellphone will be produced as cell phones, and cell phones would be, sold to the customer. So using end user principle, yung nickel na binibenta mo, ang customer mo pala ay yung bumibili ng cellphone. So again, these are just one of the theories for you to identify sino ba ang customer mo. Alright? Pwede siyang direct, pwede siyang indirect. So why is this important that you should know your end user? If you know your end user, especially if you're a raw materials producer, pwede mong i-diversify yung binebentahan mo. So, hindi lang pwede na raw materials, binibenta mo business to business. You could look at other entry points of selling. You could look at manufacturing, distribution, and direct retail. I don't know kung may mga bumibili ng nickel directly person to person. But if you could manage through that, okay, look at the end user, kaya mo pang i-diversify yung flow ng ginagawa mo. So lastly, since we talk about where to find customers, one basic answer aside from end user is markets. We use the term markets more commonly. A market, a market can be a place or a touch point. It can be a physical place or online. A market can be between many buyers and sellers simultaneously. A market can have multiple exchange mechanisms. Pwede siya maging barter, palitan, pwede siya maging credit, utang muna, crypto, even mga shoutouts nga, nagiging market na yung mga stars sa Facebook, di ba? It's a type of market kasi may transaction na nangyayari. So, markets also have competition. Doon mo malalaman kung market ba. It's a distinct characteristic of market when it has competition. Which is, competition is always good for innovations and value propositions. Kung nababalikan natin sa economics, kung familiar kayo with monopoly, na encounter nyo na word na monopoly, monopolia, encounter nyo na ba yan?
Yes po.
Okay, so I would ask Ms. Darlina, bakit hindi maganda ang monopoliya para sa mga customers? Or anyone, bakit hindi maganda ang monopoliya para sa ekonomiya? Para sa mga customers?
Wait lang,
Anyone?
sir.
Okay, sir. Sir Weljun, may research pa ni Ms. Darlina. Sir Weljun, bakit hindi
Sir,
maganda ang
monopoly
monopoliya?
po ba? Yun po ba yung parang kinukuha lang ng isang tao yung product? Parang ganun po.
Yes, ng isang tao or ng isang business, sila lang yung nagbebenta. Walang competition sa merkado na yun. Bakit hindi maganda yun para sa mga customer?
Para sa akin po, hindi siya maganda kasi hindi po siya secured na long term. So if ever po mawala yung isang customer, wala ka na pong other backup plan. And especially pag monopoly po kasi, syempre sa isang customer ka lang, yung other customer po na hindi mabibigyan, lilipat na po sila sa iba. And if ever man po na hindi po matuloy yung customer na pinagbigyan nyo for monopoly, wala ka na pong ibang customer or wala ka na pong ibang malalapitan na customer po.
Well, good attempt, pero let me correct you on that. Pag sinabi nating monopoliya, isa lang yung nagbebenta. Okay? So, pag isa lang ang nagbebenta, sige, Miss Jane, Miss Nieto, ano yung answer mo? Tapos si Miss Yuki kasunod.
Para sa akin po, sir, pagka ganun po na isa lang yung nagbebenta, pwede po kasing i-take advantage yun ng company na mag-overpricing po sila. Kasi since wala naman pong ibang mabibilan yung ibang customers, sila lang yung may access nun or may product nun. So, may tendency po na mas taasan pa po nila yung presyo po.
Tama. Miss Yuki.
Yun sir, yung sagot ko naman po is lack of incentive. It can cause less innovation or improvement to the product since they face little competition lang po.
Tama. Good answers, guys. Good answers. So, sa madaling salita, pag isa lang ang nagbibenta ng produkto, wala na rin reason to innovate kasi alam nila na sila lang. Okay? This might be direct or indirect, pero isipin mo na lang ganito. Nagbibenta ka ng cellphone sa isang lugar, wala kang kakompetensya. Siyempre, petics ka lang, relax ka lang. You can dictate the price, you could dictate what you sell, ganun. Tapos isang araw may pumasok na 2-3 na nagbebenta rin. Siyempre, dahil pumasok sila, ikaw, kailangan mo i-step up yung game mo. Right? In another example, sa cellphone, right? Imagine if the only one selling cellphone is Apple. They don't need to innovate. especially with the introduction of Android, mabilis ang innovation. So, pagandaan ng screens and all those features, right? So that is good. Always remember that in markets, competition is good. Competition is good. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that you always have to compete. Okay? It's good to know if competition exists kasi kung ikaw ang first mover, if you're the first person to create that product, wala kang kakompetensya, then you could set the price. But don't expect that to last for a long time. May papasok dyan na mag-i-introduce ng produkto na halos kaparehas mo. Okay? And when that happens, it's in your duty to innovate, to improve, and to serve more customers responsibly and ethically. So markets where there's competition is a good force, is a good motivating force for us sellers to always improve what we're trying to sell. Alright? Siyempre, sa markets may mga regulations, part na rin doon to participate. No, we should also determine what is legal or not. Okay, so moving on, how do we determine our markets? Madali lang naman. So, you could do market research. Napag-usapan na to with the last group. Conduct thorough market research. Gather ka ng data tungkol sa yung industriya. Sino yung mga potential customers mo, competitors, and even trends. Okay? One thing that you can do is define your ideal customer. Going back to sa profiling to, dahil marami ka na naka-encounter na customers, ma-realize mo na yung the best, at yung uri ng the best na customer na kaya mong, na madaling lapitan para sa'yo. Siyempre, pag nagawa mo ni ideal customer, doesn't mean na yun lang ang lalapitan mo, but if doing this, at least alam mo na yung standard, alam mo na yung mas ideal, alam mo na yung less ideal, right? You could also identify market segments within your market. Okay? Yung market mo, dinidivide mo sa mas maraming groups. Okay? May mga common characteristics dyan. And you can also evaluate market demand. Okay? It doesn't always mean na pag may bagong market na ikaw yung nauna, may produkto ka na binebenta na alam mong bago, napapatok agad yun. Baka may dahilan bakit walang bumibili doon sa ano na yun, sa location na yun, or walang bumibili ng ganitong klaseng item. So it's always important to test and validate din. Mag-launch ka ng mga pilot programs, promotions, conduct focus group as we discussed from last week, run small-scale marketing campaigns para mag-gauge mo lang kung interesado ba yung customer mo. And of course, gather feedback. And lastly, importante na monitor and adapt with all the data that you've collected, no? Monitor mo yung market dynamics, customer feedback, ano ba yung mga competitive activities na ginagawa ng yung mga kakompetensya, to stay informed and adapt your strategies as needed. Adapting your strategies, lalong magiging diversify yan. Pwedeng pumasok dyan yung paraan mo mag-market, how you advertise, how you innovate the product itself. So kung babalikan natin to, kung i-revolve natin to sa TQM, kung naalala nyo yung essence of TQM, Total Quality Management, and now we're talking about competing in markets, you could recruit every department to contribute something to marketing. Meron silang ambag to improve on your marketing. And these are some of the ways. Market research, identifying ideal customers, segments, evaluating, testing, and monitoring and adapt. Okay? So far, so good. Nagigets naman? Nagigets naman, class?
Yes po.
Okay. Sige.
Yes po.
Okay. Miss Darlina, napilit mo ako mag-report ng biglaan. Wala sa plano to. Malagaw. Dapat kayo eh. Joke lang. Sige. Sige. If there's one thing that I would leave you, medyo hindi ako ready mag-present eh. Well, dati ko ng presentation to. Pero, sinusupplement ko na lang yung dating, yung mga naunang groups. If there's something I want to leave you tonight, especially sa customer satisfaction and customer segments, is that it's important to know who your customers are, right? Pag alam mo yung customers mo, pag kilala mo yung customers mo, ma-realize mo, number one, ano ba yung serbisyo na kaya mong ibigay sa kanila? One guide that will always be important sa yung business is how can I serve them? If we're grounded by service, sabihin mo na lang, sige, medyo moral principle to. Pero ito nagiging ko para sa akin lang, ito underpinning ko. Kumbaga may mga araw na parang burit na ako sa mundo or minsan kinakabahan ako. Ang iniisip ko na lang nandito ako sa posisyon para magbigay ng serbisyo. Okay? And if you are reminded that you're in the position to give service, you're the expert. You're the one that will be the source of what they are looking for. It's not always the case naman that you have to always people please. Kung gusto nila, good. Kung hindi, di hindi. Okay? At kung nagustuhan nila, always ask, how can you improve on serving? It's also important na dahil alam mo na yung customer, kung sino yung ideal customers mo, create segmentation. If you create your segmentation, pwede mo rin i-diversify yung product offerings mo. Right? So, hindi lang isang uri ng produkto. Siguro example, sa 4 na klase ng mga customers na to, dahil ako nagpo-provide ng service, pwede kong i-diversify yung service na ginagawa natin. And lastly, to leave you tonight, understand motivations ng customers mo. Saan ba sila nanggagaling? At kung alam mo kung saan sila nanggagaling, alam mo kung saan sila pupunta. O, di ba? Alam mo kung saan sila pupunta. At dahil kung alam mo saan sila pupunta, kaya mong mauna na doon. Para ano sila, to meet and greet them ba? Alright? So, yun na nga, segmentation and motivations. Okay, class? So far, so good. Yes naman? I-react kayo pag nag-gets nyo.
Yes
Alright,
po.
sige. Okay, and with